Right. I want to make this video, get this over with, because I am absolutely shattered. Get this all off my chest. There's a lot to get off my chest, and I won't remember to say everything. It's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh. Do you know, I'm just sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. I'm sick of all the mental illness, the fakery, the lies, and I'll often find that I'm saying this to someone who then turns that way themselves, and I expect it. I wait for it. I expect to be, you know, when you're expecting to be abused, when you're expecting the narcissistic abuse, when you're waiting for all the demented behaviour. I mean, I've got no friends or family. I keep away from people, and yet all these things are happening to me. Well, that was rather interesting. Now I've got to be very careful how I say this, because I have just met a woman in the pub. I've got to be very, very careful what I say. I shouldn't even be saying this. I can't say what this woman is going to do for me, but she has been stalked by the Freemasons. Do you know what? I overheard her say to the chap who said, "You've got to speak to this woman. Do you know about the Freemasons?" And I said, "Yes." And he looked quite shocked when I said that. He said, "You know about them?" I said, "Oh yeah, I worked with one, and I know what's going on. I've been awake for a decade now, ever since I had a laptop. I know everything about what's going on. You know." And he said, "You've got to speak to this lady that I know. She knows all about the political stuff." Well, she knows about the Freemasons. She's clued up. You know what I heard her say to the other chap who took me to her? "You do realise that they could unalive her," meaning me. And you know what? I didn't freak out. Obviously, we know that that's what they do. You know, I didn't need Ray Savage or any of the others to say that, or Mark Devlin. We know that. We know that. And you know, I just zoned out because I'm already in a dark place. Oh, it was fun and games again today. I've had fakery in one of the hotels I've just been to and come back from. That's where I made my last video. And the fakery from Alex. They should know better. They're in their late 60s and they're behaving like little boys. I mean, for crying out loud. This is all this fakery, and I'm going to call the police on you after calling them to do a welfare check. Oh, I spoke to this Alex last night. I had a chin wag with him, and he was telling me about, "Oh, I know you from the Best Western York House Hotel." This is all the hotels in Eastbourne, right? There's a lady in NEWHAVEN. I grew up in NEWHAVEN and Seaford. And she said 30% of the hotels in Eastbourne are being used for illegal immigrants. And the district judge told me to go to that corrupt solicitor who has 16 pages of corruption against him, including sexual harassment. He told me to go to the local MP caseworker. Do you know what? Several times. I have left so many voice messages for Josh Burundi and the local MP. I will say exactly how I was abused by Alex. I am gonna say which hotel it was. West Rocks Hotel. I've never stayed there before. Do you know what? There's a sign above the lift that says something about it being a lunatic asylum or psychiatric ward or something. Yes, that's the whole of the country, and particularly Eastbourne. But anyway, I was in a certain well-known pub in Eastbourne earlier, and she said a lot of the bar staff are Freemasons in there. I said, "Oh, I know there's a Freemason lodge in this town." She said, "Oh, yeah, I know someone who lived in South Street and they heard funny noises coming from there." Well, we know about the underground tunnels in the under the hotels because Alan, whose father was a high-ranking Freemason and an interceptor for tried to stop Peter Townsend from marrying Princess Margaret. This is Alan's father. This Alan I know, and he knows a lot of rich people and people who own, and he wants to expose his paedophile teachers at his boys' school, but he's scared to do it. I think he's compromised. Now the thing is, he did what Terry in the pub did. He said he loved me as a friend. And I said this to this lady because this lady thinks that is. By the way, if you see this, please don't freak out. I'm going to be very careful. I'm not going to say your name. Um, I'm not going to say your name, lady. Nice lady who wants to help me. Because I've told you my YouTube name, and I don't want you to think, "Oh my gosh, what is she doing?" This is what I do. This is me. This is just me. I've got a big mouth. I just do you know what? I think you're absolutely right. They haven't unalived me because I'm too powerful. They're scared of me. So you're absolutely spot on. They use psychological warfare, suicide. Do you know what? I went past the pub a little while ago, and one of the men said, "I thought so and so, you had walked me back to this hotel." I said, "Oh, she did." But what he didn't realise was that I was going to walk out to go and buy a load of alcohol at the garage and take it up to Beachy Head and try and walk off the cliffs. Yes, I am in an extremely suicidal state. Thanks to the West Rocks Hotel in Eastbourne. Thank you, Alex, for that. You're just another one of these fake you're moaning to me about how awful all the other hotels are that you've worked in, and what do? You and your colleague at the West Rocks Hotel, pretending to call the police out of concern for me when you held my hand last night. Yes, this is at the West Rocks Hotel in Eastbourne. He held my hand. He said, "You all right? You all right?" Before I got in the lift, I said, "No, I'm absolutely terrified of the police. I'm terrified of being made a political prisoner." And what do? You go, you say, you have a go at me because my partner, who was meant to stay with me in that hotel this weekend, just gone. Yes, he let me down again. So you and your staff had to help me with all my stuff in the lift. Oh, and I had to get the stuff all the way back into this hotel again. And you were having a go at me, Alex, from the West Rocks Hotel. Do you know, I should have taken a whole handful of those cream eggs, and I didn't. Because I'm too polite. I'm too much of a nice lady. But yes, those signs are right. It is a lunatic asylum. And you're proving that. You're proving it's a lunatic asylum. I felt sorry for you because you told me you'd lost your daughter to cancer in a week. You're taking care of your grandchildren, and I genuinely feel awful for you and what the doctors have put you through. And we had a bit of a chinwag last night. And then, but I could sense something was not quite right. I told you what had been done to me at the Strand Hotel by the police, the threat of being a political prisoner. I've got a disabled sister who's telling me on Facebook that she's got to find out how long she's got to live. I didn't even know because I've been threatened by the police to stay away from my late mother's flat where I haven't been since she died in 2009. But this lady in the pub, she knows about the Freemasons, and I'm not going to say what she's going to do, but she wants the paperwork of these bail conditions. You might as well be, do you know what? I don't care if you're a Freemason or not. If you behave like this, you might as well be in the club. I could not give a flying FUCK. But this woman, her ex-partner, husband, used to be a Freemason, and he left because he didn't like the men that were in there. Some of them are Satanists. She said some of them are Satanists, some of them don't realise it's Satanism. I said, no, I already know this. They're the low-level ranking ones that think they're just, do-gooders. Until they reach the higher levels. Yes, I know, because, Dr. William Schnoblum, there isn't anything he hasn't exposed. I worked with a Freemason over 20 years ago when I was a teenager. He told my mother he wanted to impregnate me, and yes, I know what they do with the babies. Yes, yes. I know there isn't anything I don't know. I've met victims of satanic ritual abuse, human trafficking. I met John Alexander Patterson, who is part of the Royal Commission, and I'm sick to death of these men who open up to me, and then I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Okay, I was crying on the phone to Darren. I said, I could not give a shit about any of this. I said, it's you that's hurting me. I've had abusive text messages from his friend Charlie calling me an idiot. He's copying Darren. I did not give him permission to send a letter to the House of Commons. And the irony that this letter says that I have a severe disability and mobility issues. Mobility? Yeah, I'm lugging all this stuff on my own, backwards and forwards, and no one's helping me, not even Darren. I mean, in the West Rocks Hotel, they saw me. I overheard people saying in reception, why is no one helping that lady? And then I open up to this Alex, who knows me from the Best Western York House Hotel, where he had problems. I told him about one of the Darrens on the desk. He said, oh, he's gay. I said, is he? I said, well, he blamed his... I don't know. I'm just sick of it. I've helped these people. I've spent thousands on these hotels. 30% of the hotels I used for illegal immigrants. I've been using my late father's inheritance. There isn't anything I haven't seen or experienced in these hotels. Everything. So, I've even had it in this hotel, but I can't say anything right now, not while I'm staying here. But I witnessed a guy, an employee who was abusive to me, assault someone else. And one of the reviews of this hotel, a woman said she didn't feel safe because of illegal immigrants. I haven't seen any here, but anyway, I've got to be very careful what I say. So I can talk about the West Rocks Hotel because I'm not there anymore. But Alex, I'm disgusted with you. Oh, you were saying to me, oh, the Citrus Hotel, you need to wipe your feet when you walk out of there. Oh, I don't need to do that with your hotel, though, do I? Lunatic asylum. Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, I really felt sorry for you for what you were telling me about. You nearly died of a heart attack in Egypt when you were blown across the room because something to do with their electrics are different in Egypt. When you get an electric shock, all the power in the hotel went out, and you were thrown across the room and nearly lost your life. You were drowning or something. I don't know. I don't understand medical things. But you know what? Someone like you, Alex, I listening to you, and you're telling me that you got angry with your doctors. You put your foot down with them. Me and this elderly man, Terry, in the pub, were threatened with police by a Dr. Caro who was supposed to write a letter to the council. The MP is not doing what District Judge Harper said. I've had I was told that I needed a blood transfusion or it could be life threatening. Dr. Woolhouse told me that Dr. Caro would write a letter, and then he threatened me and Terry with police. Now this lady who's going to help me, and I can't say what she's going to do because it involves the courts and paperwork. As I said, she knows about the Freemasons. Tonight, she has said to me, Terry is definitely a Freemason. She saw Terry in the pub. And I said, are you sure? Because how do you know? She said, I just know. Why is he not helping you? I said, well, I did get quite cross in the speaking to him, and a barman came over, and he was like, I said, look, I said to the barman, I said, look, I'm just venting to my friend here. The MP is not helping me. Well, you need to be wary of other people. And that's this that the woman said to me that even some of the staff in Weatherspoons are Freemasons. She said, be very careful who you speak to. I said, well, it's too late now. I've got a big mouth. But this is why they won't unalive me, because they're afraid of me. But Monique Prescott at the council said that. Do you think people are afraid because you speak the truth? And look what these evil, evil bastards have done to me. Look at what they've done. Look at the mess they've left me in. The MP caseworker is supposed to be looking into my storage that was sold by the council. Barclays have done more for me, and they're a corporate entity. So, yeah. So it's very interesting that she thinks she's truly convinced, and she told me why she's convinced that this man who is friends with Darren and sort of involved with my situation, she's convinced he's a Freemason and why he won't help me. I said, well, I couldn't understand why he shouted. I got upset with him. So why did you shout at me and not Dr. Caro when he threatened you and me with police? So this woman is absolutely convinced that Terry is a Freemason, and she even thinks I should be careful with Darren because Darren knows everything about me. But yeah, Darren nearly got involved with that, and he told me that by accident. Nearly got involved with them. It is what it is. But I said, well, he walked into all of my problems. Caroline Ansell offered him a caring role through Care for the Carers. I told her, I told this woman about Juliet Rawson, who died of cancer, how she witnessed me being attacked in the street in the halfway house where I had my bedroom window smashed and the police were arresting me. She said, keep that email. I said, I will. because Caroline Ansell did nothing. And she was the one who suggested Darren take a caring role for me. And then when Darren took this stupid caring role, which I don't need, they then banned him from visiting me in the psychiatric hellhole. So no one's helped me. I've had to deal with all these people and their mental illness, like the people at the West Rocks Hotel. I'm just sick of it. They've actually got a sign above their Victorian lift saying welcome to the psychiatric ward. I'm not joking. If you're ever in Eastbourne, go and have a look in the West Rocks Hotel. Have a look above the lift and you will see it says welcome to the psychiatric ward, and there's another one saying it's a lunatic asylum. And that's the whole of Eastbourne. That's Eastbourne all over. Well known for, it's run by psychopaths. The whole, well, we know the whole system is, the whole world, the whole country, everything. But it is very prominent in Eastbourne. And Darren said to me years ago, "Oh, Eastbourne's got a strong hold for Freemasonry." So the fact that this lady, she's been stalked by Freemasons, and she has said to them, look, she's called it out. She's actually told them, if you want to kill me right now, go ahead. I know what you are. And she said, these men said to her, how do you know that? I said, wow, you know your stuff then. I mean, I said that if someone was stalking me, I would have no idea. But I said I've had on the what I've had, and I was telling her this earlier. I've had very weird situations, just weird people. Oh God, it's like they're programmed. It's all this narcissistic abuse. I told her about when I was handcuffed over a parcel, a civil matter, and Alan didn't want to get involved. Alan, whose father was a Freemason, she said, well, they won't. They'll befriend you. They want to be your friend. Now, Darren, my partner, was saying to me, how do you know? How does she know? How can she be sure that Terry's a Freemason? I said, you know what? Because I was already crying. I said, I just don't care anymore. It's you, Darren. I don't care what the police have done. You keep letting me down. You were shouting on the phone to me while I was in Wetherspoons. You were supposed to come down and you keep lying to me saying you'll help me, blah, 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 blah. He said, no, it's not me. It's them. And all this nonsense. Believe in Abba Yahweh. Believe in Abba Yahweh, he said to me. I will come down to see you in the morning. I said, no. And I was crying to him on the phone. I said, I'm going to go and get some alcohol and I'm going to go and do myself in. I don't care. I don't care about the Freemasons. I don't care about the police. This lady was saying to me, yes, but then they will have won. Yeah, I know. The Coastal Guard said that to me. Well, then they've won. I just don't. It's not that. It's it's the people who are supposed to care about me, who are hurting me. Who Darren's friend Charlie calling me a stupid idiot in a text, and then Darren had already let me down, not bothered to turn up. Oh, we'll have a nice weekend together, blah blah blah. And I'm lugging all this stuff into the hotels, in and out, all this stuff backwards and forwards. And it's just not worth the pain and the hurt. I said it's not worth. I want out. I want out of this. I couldn't give a flying monkeys about the Freemasons. I couldn't give I said, do you know what? I don't care if they want to. If someone wanted to try and unalive me, or whatever. I really don't. I'm not afraid of that. I just can't take this anymore. This suffering. This hell. This hell. I can't. It's that's. it's that's you know, this bullshit, this fakery, other people's mental illness. I can't escape it. You know, I expect to be abused. The fact that I expected Darren to let me down. I expected Alex at the West Rocks Hotel to turn funny just like that, like all these other nutters in all these hotels, all these Basil Faulties. And I was only saying to him last night, I can't stand all this fakery. And then he goes and does it. Is it a surprise? No, of course not. I had a vent to him. Had a little, you know, chin wag. And then I came back down and I asked for a late checkout. Darren was supposed to come back to me to help me. He didn't. Then I was late checking out. And then that's when he turned funny with me. He said, "Look, we've got people checking in half an hour. Yes, I'm sorry. My partner is supposed." I kept apologising and saying thank you for helping me. And then this Alex is then saying to me, this night porter who was then doing a day shift, he's then saying, you know what he said to me last night? He said, "Come back to me during the day and have a chat with me." I said, "Well, I'm checking out tomorrow." And then he's doing this narcissistic thing of, "Yes, you told me all of this last night. You told me, you told me." I said, "Why are you now getting all, no, you're getting irate." Oh, for crying out loud. This is a man who I felt sorry for because he's looking after his grandchildren because his granddaughter died within just a week at the age of 27, he said. I just it's this mentality, this 1 minute showing compassion and then boom. I've seen it in all the hotels, and he's got the nerve to say to me, "Oh, that Eastbourne hotel is awful. That one's awful. Don't talk to me about the Strand Hotel. Yeah, the hotel, uh, the hotel that was on GB News for illegal immigrants. That hotel." And I said to him, I said, "I'm going to respond to a TRIPADVISOR review because there's a woman who has been sexually harassed at the Strand Hotel, and they're going, well, I assume it's a woman, and they're going to go to the paper. And I know who it is who's abused her. It's the same thug, the bald-headed thug, who threatened to assault me when I received a malicious communications letter from a nutter, pages long. It's a miracle. It's an absolute miracle what I've survived. People don't survive what I've survived. I told this night porter. I said they end up in a ditch on drugs, alcohol, and I said to him, "I don't drink, smoke, or take drugs." And you know what this Alex said? "Oh, I can't stand these people that take drugs." Because I said, "I now understand. I feel sorry for some of them. They're not all bad people. I get it. Because technically speaking, I should be one of them." He said, "Oh, they all end up on benefits and they get the help with the medical conditions." I thought, that's probably not necessarily a fair thing to say. Maybe in some cases, yes. He wanted to know why I was illegally evicted. I just told him about Marion, the 86-year-old woman on YouTube who's a victim of an illegal eviction scam in Bexhill, who said that my solicitor had 16 pages of corruption, including sexual harassment against him. This is Mr. Holden, and then I've got the MP office line. I told him all of this. And my partner's friend had the nerve to say people say she's mad. No, she's a retired forensic lawyer. She's intelligent, Charlie. And what did you call me? I'll just find the text messages. This is what Darren's friend Charlie has done. Right. He was supposed to. This is the same Charlie calling Marion mad when she's a very intelligent woman, and I can just see without even having met her, this woman on YouTube. You only have to read the reviews of Mr. Holden online. He is demented. And he lied to the Solicitors Regulation Authority, saying that I didn't instruct him when he kept hanging up on me. Read his online reviews. Other people have had the same experience. And it's interesting that bad things start happening to people who have contact with Marion. So does that mean something bad will happen to me? I don't have a car that could be scratched, so it's just as well. But I text Charlie on, obviously Darren had let, this is today. Today I text Charlie. I phoned him as well. I said I can't leave a voice message. Now, bearing in mind I was already upset because Darren was supposed to come back. My partner was meant to come back and help me. Right, so today, this was today. This is the 20th of July at 9:15 p.m. So this was last night. I want to talk to you about this letter to Josh I didn't authorize. This is my text to my partner's friend, Charlie. Charlie was meant to apologise to me about his behaviour towards me at the Eastbourne People's Assembly a few years ago. I had a bit of bullying and abuse from people there. Honestly, they're absolute nutters in this town. They're absolutely vile. I hate it. It's absolutely rife in this town. You know, you've got the lefty loonies, and then you've got this toxic. It's very prevalent on the southeast coast, and this was a few years ago that Charlie was abusive to me with other people, and one of the organisers, Brian, had said, I will not tolerate bullying at another EPA, Eastbourne People's Assembly meeting. Now, Charlie was meant to apologise to me. He never apologised to me. He apparently apologised to Darren. Well, that's not apologising to me. But what he did do was he lied to me in text a few weeks ago, saying, oh, this was after he took photographs of what the police did to me, and saying to me, he's deluded. He texted me saying that I swore and shouted at him. I said, Charlie, I've never shouted and sworn at you. That's a lie. He was lying to me about me in text when he was meant to be saying sorry. So I'm then angry when then recently Darren, my partner, forwarded me the letter that Charlie sent to the House of Commons to Josh Burundi, the local MP. And it basically says that I'm on severe disability, mostly about mental health, not being specific, and saying that I have mobility issues, which is of course a piss take when you're, pardon my language, carrying all this stuff from one hotel to the next on your own. So I tried to leave a voice message last night, but Charlie's phone wouldn't let me leave a voice message. Anyway, his response to me saying, I want to talk to you about this letter to Josh I didn't authorize, his response was, Oh, so you would rather stay being abused? I was trying to help you. You're so rude. I'm going back to deleting and not reading your hurtful messages. Same old, same old. Charlie, this is me, from me. Charlie, this is very serious. I can't leave a voice message for you. You were rude and made false accusations about me when you were meant to apologise, and then Darren forwarded me your letter about me to the House of Commons, which is inaccurate, and you can't speak about me on a personal level when you don't know me that well. Didn't ask my permission, and especially after how you treated me. This is not normal behaviour. So this is Charlie's response to me, and it's very childish. Not surprised everyone want to avoid you. Happy 14th for tomorrow, you stupid idiot. What the hell does that mean? Happy 14th for tomorrow. Happy 14th for tomorrow, you stupid idiot. This is really, really very serious. This is what I was saying to Terry in the pub. Now, Terry does this thing where he pretended to not know how many times he'd been to the MP office with my partner Darren, and this woman was saying to me, this is what Freemasons do, they act stupid. Now my partner is saying, how can she have proof that Terry's a Freemason? Well, none, but I don't know. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. She was in a relationship with one. So my response to Charlie calling me a stupid idiot and happy 14th for tomorrow, whatever that means. I know it's their birthday. Darren and Charlie's birthday is tomorrow. Oh, just grow up, Charlie. I'm sick of this. So why did you send that letter? Exactly, why? Why did he send it? If this is what he thinks of me, a hug then ends up in verbal abuse. Why send that letter? And I've put in capitals, this is very serious. And then we're back to, oh, I'm deleting your messages now. I won't be reading them, so you won't get off on insulting me with your obnoxious, childish behaviour, blah, 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 blah. Get help, Charlie. I will show your text to the MP caseworker. If I can get hold of him. I mean, Alex said to me that they go for lunch from 1 till 2 and then they're open after that. They're never open. The MP office is never open. The police were ringing me saying, we're concerned about you. I've got a text message from the police on my phone. We're concerned about you. And then the concerns then turn into threats. They're not giving me accommodation. So much for Charlie saying to Josh Burundi that I've got a severe disability and that I've also got mobility issues. Not being specific. But this woman said, reckons that the MP won't get involved because they're too afraid. Yes, well, you can say that. They're all cowards. Where are the men? There aren't any women, but there definitely aren't any men. That's for sure. That's why the birth rates are low. That's why the landlady described me as a spinster. Yes, this lovely woman who should be in prison, describing me as a spinster when she had said she wanted to help me write a book. Yes. And she didn't tell me that she knew Charles Lucas Property Management, who were protecting the halfway house criminals. The silence from not getting a reply will not will tell you I'm not reading them now. See, I haven't even read Charlie's responses because they're so childish. And then he sent the same text again. The silence from not getting a reply will tell you I'm not reading them now. They filter into my delete messages box. So I just responded, I am blocking you. You're a bloody joke. That's all I have to say. Now go and be nasty to someone else. He's just said he's not reading my text messages, and then he's calling me a bloody joke. Go and be nasty. It's just, this is what children do. Welcome to the modern world of narcissism. As I say, I'm not reading a single text. It's just so pathetic. It is so pathetic. Why? Do you know, like I said, do you know, I really don't care about the police, the Freemasons, all this bullshit. I don't care. Obviously, my sister's support worker, all these saddos have got nothing going on in their lives. All these false allegations. I haven't been to my mother's flat since she died in 2009. My sister, my transgender sister, did not even want me to have a birthday card, an unsigned birthday card from my mother saying, proud, uh, proud of the woman, remembering the child you were, proud of the woman you've become. My mother was proud of me. And I tell you what, if she knew that I had survived all of these things after what she went through in her life, illegal abortion in Pennsylvania by a man who was selling his body to other men in New York in the 1950s, and everything else in her life. I mean, I didn't know about that till later on. And all the amazing things that she could do as an adopted child and having a privileged upbringing, and all the things she made for us, the things she could do, like Wonder Woman, a single mother, a grandmother who lived through 2 world wars so that my freedoms could be taken from me. I was saying to this lady earlier, I said, what the police did to me. What the police did to me was worse than attempted rape. They helped me with the rape thing in 2011. They put that creep in prison and on a sec, and I forgot all about it. Didn't bother me. So what the police have done to me is worse. Yes, because they're paid to protect, to serve and protect. And you wonder why we are heading towards a civil war when you've got this going on in the hotels, these men in their 60s who are behaving like little children. And they will go like that into old age. Because narcissists just get worse with age. Who have your grandchildren got to look up to when you're behaving like little children yourselves? An 86, 85, 86-year-old woman who was told by District Judge Harper she could be sent to prison. Why is she not in prison? That was a year ago. Yes. But I'm under attack for my free speech. And I said to that idiot on the desk at the West Rocks Hotel, I said, I was telling your colleague who knows me from another hotel that I am terrified of the police, that I need to go to the Free Speech Union. Right, I'm calling the police. So folks, if you want to come to Eastbourne for your holidays, I don't recommend the hotels. If you want the full-on Basil Fawlty experience, then yes, come to Eastbourne. Come to Eastbourne. I think it might take, you'd have to stay a while to get the full-on experience, to see a few things, but unless you're extremely vulnerable and the victim of corruption, Cavendish Hotel used to be like the Grand Hotel, you know. One of their reviews a few years ago was homeless hotel. 30% of the hotels in Eastbourne are being used for illegal immigrants, and as that young lady from NEWHAVEN said, even some of it's going on in NEWHAVEN. And NEWHAVEN is just a small town with a port. I know because I grew up in that town. And the woman from what's her name, Jackie, and what's her name from 4 South Road in NEWHAVEN. You've still got my things. My childhood best friend Chloe was born into that house. I was even telling this lady about she knows about SDR living, the flat that I was locked out of on news my father had died. I told her about Andy Camfield, the hotel manager who's now in prison for 7 years for defrauding my eldest sister's friend who was on the local ITV news. He rang head of police and the managing director, and I said, why? They're the people who are complicit in all of this. But I've just learned that not all police officers are Freemasons, because some people are under the idea that they all are. That man on LSB films said that all Freemasons, all police are Freemasons. That's not actually true, I've learned. But we also know that not all of them are knowing, practicing Satanists. We know about the Baphomet and the sun worship and all that nonsense, that there's so much crap that they're into. Yeah, and we know that the low levels don't know. Everybody knows the low levels what they're into. But you only have to be a 3rd degree Freemason to become a Master Mason, which might explain why that desk sergeant threatened me with prison if I so much as leave a card and flowers for my sister, which is what Darren suggested I do. Make of it what you will. But she said they've definitely done a psycho job on you. I said, yes, I know. This has been going on for 9 years. She said, has it been going on for a year? I said, no, 9 years since I've been with Darren. And they've scapegoated Darren. And yeah, I mean, how do you go into NICER where you've never had a problem before and suddenly you're being threatened? I ask a man with grey hair not to be rude to me, and I am physically assaulted and handcuffed for asking little boys. They're all little boys. Where are the men? We're being invaded. We're currently being invaded. We've got a mass invasion going on. We're heading towards civil war, and we've got men in their 60s with grandchildren, men in their 80s as well, behaving like little boys. Oh, don't tell me not to be rude. I can't handle it. I'm going to call the police. I'm going to call the police because I can't handle you telling me not to be rude. You know what? My grandmother would be 120. She was Edwardian. She lived through 2 world wars. She was a teacher. And when I was a little girl, she told me, she said, pick that up. I said, Grandma, what do you say? Please, please. But I love my grandmother so much, so much. And my mother was proud of me because that's how she brought me up. It's ironic. My beautiful adoptive grandmother. I've got very happy memories. I was only 8 when my grandmother died. What a history she had. But if she, just think what she would say if she knew all of this. Oh, she knew what she knew. She saw what my sisters did to me. She saw what my middle sister did to me, my transgender sister. Grandma, tell her to get off me. Bronya, get off her. dragging me up the stairs, physically and mentally abusing me, and now using the Freemasons, the police. Now, Darren's not wrong though. If he wants to come here, he can come here. It's his choice. I said, look, I'm done with the lies and the abuse. I said, I don't care. I don't care if, if, if they want to off me, murder me, do me in, whatever. I don't care. I'm not afraid of them. This lady said that that's probably why they can't physically off you, because you're too strong. They have to use psychological warfare. Well, I said, it's not them. Darren, my partner, is saying it's not me, it's not me. I said, you're telling me it's not you that's making me suicidal, and I'm telling you that it is you, because you're the person who's supposed to love me. And your friend has also been abusive. It's like, oh, you assaulted me, so it's okay. You made an excuse for it. Well, it was just stress. Oh, well, that's okay then. No, I was not put on this earth to be a doormat, to be a free-for-all. So, I have to have my boundaries. I have to have healthy boundaries. But you know something? I just want out of this hell. So, I've left voice messages for the MP office. I have, not that it's going to do anything, and left a voice message. I spoke to the new law firm. Mr. Holden just wants to get paid for his work. Paid for his work. This is before. I don't understand how a legal aid certificate transfer works, but he needs to get paid from the solicitors involved in before he can pass on the paperwork, the casework. Yeah, I really just don't care anymore. Well, I do believe, and I think this lady agrees with me, that because I'm so outspoken and speaking the truth, that the evildoers are afraid of me, because silence is their only weapon. Now, you can label them whatever you like. You can call them narcissists, you can call them Freemasons. It doesn't matter what they've signed up to. Whoever and whatever you're dealing with, if you are speaking out, if you are speaking the truth, and people don't like that, or they're afraid, I can't handle this person. She's telling me not to be rude. She's speaking the truth. It scares me. I've already won more than half of the battle already just by doing that. So, I'm going to end this live stream now. You know, I can't guarantee that I won't go and top myself or whatever. I've just had enough of the fakery and the lies. It's not even so much. Do you know what? I'm not as bothered by Darren's friend being verbally abusive, calling me a stupid idiot, as much as I am that he's deluded himself and has the audacity to write that letter in his delusions of grandeur, that making these lies that I have sworn and shouted at him when he was meant to be apologising to me. I mean, Darren and Charlie were doing a Bible study. I honestly, it's no good Darren saying to me, preaching to me about Abu Yahweh, Abu Yahweh, Abu Yahweh, because Darren's just going to make himself look stupid as well. Abu Yahweh is going to help us. I truly believe. No, Darren, no, no. This emotional manipulation, these lies. Stop letting me down and stop shouting at me. I don't want to be in Weatherspoons with these men saying, oh, all men are bastards. Because, yes, one man did say that. I don't want, because I was crying outside and they didn't realise what I was crying about. They didn't realise I was crying about Darren. I did a little bit, but there we go. So yes, I'm sick of the abuse in the hotels and the fakery. But the good thing is if you expect it, it won't shock you. It won't be a shock, a judder, that sick feeling you get from the shock because you expect it. You know, you're so used to it that you expect it. What narcissistic abuse am I going to get next? Come on, come on. You know, what are you going to do to me now? What are you going to say? Come on. You know, it, my mother did this thing with my eldest sister. She's a tyrant. She's a landlady. I can't even read her text message. My mother did something that I myself automatically do. She said, I put up this perspex tank. This is something my late mother did with my eldest sister. Imagine an invisible perspex tank and all those words, everything that's being thrown at you, nothing can hurt you. It's all just bouncing off. It's all you're under this like invisible, like all transparent perspex tank. Imagine this tank around you, and all this abuse that you're getting, whatever it is, whether it's from a now. I admitted that I lashed out at Darren. You know what? This woman who's going to help me with this, what the police have done to me, and I'm not, as I said, I can't say what it is, but it's to deal so that the Freemasons will just fuck off basically and leave me alone. Pardon my language. I don't swear. I never swear, so that's how you know when I'm at breaking point. Her friend, the male friend in the pub, who said, I've got to introduce you to this friend of mine who can help you. He'd come up to me. He actually said, you all right? I said, no, I'm not all right. And that's why he came over. I can't say what Terry said. Oh no. See, they think that Terry's a Freemason because I'm just very frustrated that none of them are helping me, and they think that's why he's a Freemason. You know, who knows? I said to Terry, they know that the Freemasons are after me and that I should be careful what I say. I actually said that to him. But this lady said the way he was looking at her. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, you know, I'm not freaked out, although it does sicken me. Um, the man who initially said, I think you should speak to my female friend. She can help you. He said that he had an ex-wife. He was married for a year, and a woman, the ex-wife, chased him with an axe. Yeah. I know this is all. He said the trauma, and I said I can see it in your eyes. He said this is why I drink. He said it was the most terrifying thing in my life. It's understandable. I mean, who wouldn't? But when I said, look, I'm not perfect. My partner has upset me. He said, you've had a build up of stress and trauma, haven't you? I said, yes. I said, look, I lashed out at my partner, and I said it in front of Terry. I admit it. I once lashed out at him. He said, yes, but how much have you taken? Allah said a lot. Now, initially, I didn't take a lot from my partner, and this is where it gets all messy. I said, I said to this lady, things have happened that should not have happened, and it should never have ended up like this. Why would Caroline Ansell suggest a caring role to Darren, and why would Darren take it when he can barely get himself up? I'm doing all the hard work. And his friend is emailing the House of Commons saying I got mobility issues and then calling me a stupid idiot because I didn't authorise this letter. It's all this piss taking. Yes. Anyway, that's me done. I'm over and out now. I'm done. I've had enough. But this country is finished. And like I said, Nick Tenconi, just come and talk to me. The MP, they're absolute cow. He's an absolute coward. He said he was a victim of my YouTube channel. I told this woman earlier. I said Josh made out he was a victim of my YouTube channel. He didn't respond to me when he was councillor. And I said I had to flee council accommodation and go into the Cavendish Hotel just for my safety and sanity because I was attacked by convicted criminals and had my bedroom window smashed. So how can he suddenly then be the victim of my survival? All I've done is document what has been happening to me. I was a little bit concerned that at one point when I was standing outside the pub, the one of the men said "Oi oi" to guess who, the Warming Up the Homeless charity. I said, "Oh, they're another one who I've had a problem with." And one of them said, "Oh, I think I know who you mean." I said, "Yes." One of the women, what's her name, Julia, threatened to sue me. I said it's just rife in this town. They withdrew their homeless services to me as a homeless person and threatened to sue me. Well, how would that work? And I said they're lefty loonies. They're calling, because they'll say, "Oh, well, your sister's a man." Oh, and I told this lady about Kelly J. Keane and Let Women Speak, and she said to me, "You do know about female Freemasons, the star of what's it? The star of Ishtar, the female Freemasons. I've forgotten what they're called." I said, "Yes, I know the star of the Eastern Star." Yes, I said, well, do you know what? It would not, nothing in the world would surprise me. I said that cult-like behaviour, that paranoid behaviour from that Irish woman who told me to go to the Free Speech Union, then they bullied me, and then I think that Darren's behind it. And she said, "Are you sure Darren's not behind it? Have you gone with your gut instinct?" But but you can't always go with your gut instinct, though, can you? And we can sometimes be wrong, especially when there's lots of other entities and people contributing to all of this. So how can you see through the wood through the trees when it's coming from everywhere? I said they even wondered if I was a she even wondered if I was a man. to this Irish woman, and then the next time I go up there, I say, I need to speak, Kelly, please. I put my hand up to speak. No, no, I don't want you to speak again. But I've got bruises of what the police have done to me. No, I don't want you to speak. It's all just, this is what I'm sick of. All this fakery, bollocks. This is why I keep away from people. If you want someone who speaks the truth, watch a YouTube channel like mine, where I'm not making any money. You can see how amateurish this is. Just listen to a random person who is just trying to survive. As Darren quoted what Richard Pryor said, it's hard enough just being human. And he went through a lot before he became famous late in life. God blimey. Anyway, that's me done. Over and out.